If you have been watching recently, if you've watched all my videos recently, you know that I made some homemade apple butter. And today for me is actually the day after I made the apple butter, so it hasn't been long since I made it. And I wanted to try this apple butter spiced cake recipe that I got, that I will leave the link to the recipe down below, but I wanted to try this to see how it was. It's supposed to be a super easy cake to make. It's just a small cake. It's an 8-inch cake, 8-inch square. You could make it round with 2 6-inch cake pans, but I'm just going to do it 8-inch. And she does have a recipe for a maple fudge frosting, but I'm not going to use that. I'm just going to use my cream cheese frosting recipe that I have and just make my own cream cheese frosting. So that will be different. So I'm going to tell you the things that supposed to go in, but I'm also going to tell you again, so here we go. 3/4 cup of apple butter, 1/2 cup of unsalted melted butter, 2 eggs, 1 cup of sugar, 210 grams of flour, 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, 2 teaspoons baking soda, 2 tablespoons ground cinnamon, 1 teaspoon ground ginger, 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1/2 of cloves, and 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. So I'm going to get my camera down here and we're going to get to going. She used a stand mixer. I'm not doing that today. I'm just going to use my hand mixer and we're going to get this done. I probably also have too big of a bowl, but that means the high sides will keep me from making such a big mess. Okay, I am going to get started here, and the first things I am to put into the bowl is the apple butter, melted butter, eggs, and sugar. So I'm going to put the sugar in first because I don't know why. I just want to. Alright, so I need 1 cup of sugar. Take that out, sit it down in there. And I'm probably going to have to add some more sugar to my jar. I believe it's 1 cup. Yes. Alright, since I had a cup in there, I'm going to add more sugar to my jar later. Later I'll do that. Alright, put it back over here. Alright, so now I need the melted butter, which is in the microwave. And I did take and I used my pan that I'm going to be using to cook this in. I used it to melt my butter. I don't know if that's a smart thing or a crazy thing or what, but that's what I decided to do this morning because it just seemed like a smart thing so I wouldn't waste another dish. So that's what I did. And if I'm going to leave some of the butter in there, it's fine. Alright, I'm going to set this to the side. Actually, I have a paper towel here that I tried a dish with. Actually, the dish I'm holding in my hand right now. I'm going to set that to the side, and I do need to grease and flour it. Alright, it's been so long since I baked, y'all. My brain is not functioning. 2 eggs. And I always break my eggs in a separate bowl before I put them in my main bowl. And the other day I was looking on Instagram and I saw where a girl was showing why she does that. She was making something. I don't know what it was, but the way she was doing it, she was cracking her egg on the bowl she was putting the stuff into, the second bowl or skillet, whatever it was. And which I don't do that. To each his own, you know, do it your way. And she ended up being so grossed out by the bad egg that she threw everything away. And I guess maybe she got some whenever she cracked it on the side. Which honestly, I think that's defeating the purpose. Let me go wash my hands. I'll be right back. Okay, and then the last thing for this part right now is the apple butter. And this is the apple butter that I made as part of it anyway. It smells delicious, y'all. And I need 3/4 of a cup. And yes, it did. If you're curious, it did thicken nicely. And the reason why I am not just pouring all of this in is because I don't know if this is quite enough. And I was going to use, yeah, it's not quite enough. Well, no, it will be once I scrape all of that out. Oh, great. That's the perfect amount. All right, I'm going to set that down. And I'm going to get my little silicone spatula. I love these things. That was exactly what I needed. That is so wild. And is exactly what wouldn't fit into the jars I used. Set that to the side. Get all of this out. Okay. Now I'm just going to stir this together really quickly. And this is also like a one bowl thing, which is great. I could have went ahead and used my mixer, but I'm just doing it the quiet way right now. We'll get to the loudness later. Alright, I'm going to use my lid for my spoon rest for now. So I'm going to move to the next part, which is adding all the other things. And she says to make sure you, let me turn this on, weigh your flour. Okay. In grams. It's 210 grams. So I'm going to weigh, I'm going to put this on. Alright, and I'm going to tare my weight. And then I'm also going to go another step. Oh no. No, there it is. Duh. I'm going to go one more step, and I'm going to not only weigh my flour, I'm also going to sift it. Now, the correct amount of flour, if it is measured correctly, would be 1 3/4 cup. So we're going to test that. This is a 1/2 cup measure here, and that would mean that I need 3 1/2 of these, if that is correct. If I measured it properly, let me get a knife. Measuring flour properly means that you level it. Alright, I don't know if y'all can see everything I'm doing, but this is going to be the first, and I'm going to let this get up to 210. Oh no, it went off. Why'd you go off? Okay. Alright, that's 51. And it should be 3 1/2 of these. 1/2 cup. Oh, I made a mess. And I don't think that's going to be correct. It doesn't look like anyway. So this is the third one, which would mean that's 1 1/2, and that's only to 173. So I would only need another 1/2 of this 1/4 cup. So it's going to be difficult to level that. But what I'm going to do that's about half of that, is I'm going to see if I can get to 210. I'm experimenting this morning. And that would not have been enough. If I had went by that 1 3/4 cup, I would not have had enough. I'm very close. There we go. The rest can go back in here. It's easier to do it that way. So, see, that's why we sometimes, I know in the States we don't measure with our kitchen scale very often, but that could be sometimes why our recipes don't come out just right. I just wanted to experiment to see what happened. Now, after we're done playing, let's go on to the next part. Now, the next thing she calls for is kosher salt. I don't think I have any. Let me see. I am out of kosher salt, so this is going to be winging it. We're just going to wing it. We need, how much salt? 1 teaspoon. This is a teaspoon. And since it calls for kosher salt, I'm going to put like 3/4. Hold on a minute. Okay, so from my research, it's equal. So we're putting a teaspoon in. It kind of feels weird, but I'm doing it. Hopefully it won't be too salty, which I don't think it will be with all these other spices. I think it'll be fine. Alright, teaspoon of kosher salt, or what you got. 2 teaspoons of baking soda, not baking powder, baking soda. I'm going to level that off as well. That didn't do right. Why is that doing weird? Like there's a, okay, I don't know what that was. 2 teaspoons of that. I probably should have put my scale away while I was away from you guys for a second. I like putting things away as I go. That's what I normally do whenever I'm not filming. Alright, so now I need 2 tablespoons of ground cinnamon. So I don't want to dirty up another spoon. So I know that 3 teaspoons equals 1 tablespoon. So I'm just going to put 6 of these in here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I know that seems crazy, but it's just who I is. A half teaspoon each of nutmeg, ginger, and cloves. If you watched my video about, oh, I haven't even opened it. Wait, do I have ginger over here? Let me see if I have ginger over here. Yes, I have some. Maybe not quite enough, but we'll see. If you watched my video with me making the apple butter, you know I'm not a huge fan of clove, but it didn't, you know, it didn't overtake the other. I could have gotten a half teaspoon out and done it, but why do that why mess up another dish? I may not even use my mixer. Alright, half teaspoon of clove. I'm going to try to do this without taking the whole thing off, but without making a mess as well. Okay, that worked. Don't know how, but it did. Alright, and the nutmeg. Not quite. I know some of it went in, but that's okay. There we go. And then a half of a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And I'm not using my vanilla paste this time. I'm using vanilla extract. Alright, that is all of the ingredients. Those are all of the ingredients. I'm going to try to scrape this down a little bit. And I'm also thinking that I'm just going to mix it by hand. I'm not going to use... I'm in the mode today of don't mess up any more than you have to. So I'm not going to get the big... Well, it's not big. The hand... I've got the hand mixer out. It's right under the tripod. But I just don't see the point of using it if I don't have to. I can do this right here. Now this smells delicious. The butter might not have been melted quite enough. That might cause a bit of a mess, like bubbles. But I think that'll be alright. If I had used the hand mixer, it would have been probably better. This smells... I know, I stuck my whole head in the bowl. It smells divine. Alright, move over eggshells and everything else. We've got to get a pan over here. I have already, while I was... See, I've got my mixers things right here. I've got everything out. Why don't you put it back? But while I was doing something, I went ahead, after I did my butter, I went ahead and got the pan ready the rest of the way. Get all that goodie out with it. That's why I love the silicone spatulas, because you can get almost every single speck of your ingredients out. And they're not loud and obnoxious like a metal spoon. That's one reason why I didn't do the mixer, because it's been so loud. And I just don't want loud today. I would rather just do this. Okay. So, now, my oven is preheated. I did get a little bit on the edge there. Here's the problem with this cake. I am not going to be able to taste it with you guys because I'm taking it somewhere. So, I will just have to put on the screen if we liked it or not. I'll just have to type it on. It's the only thing I can do. My hands are clean, and yes, I did touch that, but I touched everything. That's just life. So I'm going to put it in the oven for 35 to 40 minutes until the middle center of it comes out clean. So I'll be back then. Okay, it's been 35 minutes. I did check the cake and I did take it out because it's done. This is what it looks like. It smells delicious. I'm going to just let it sit here and cool off. I am probably going to keep it in the pan, but then again I'm kind of thinking about flipping it out onto a plate, but then I don't have a square plate that would work, I don't think. I wonder. Okay, I think it would work on this, but I don't know how. Well, I could put it in a cake thing in my doodad. Woohoo, hello. I think I will take it out of there to let the sides be, you know, out of that hot pan, but just keep it on this rack here. Come out of there. All right. know that it has come out, which is fabulous. There was just one little spot right there. That's probably where the butter was. Or that looks like sugar. Either way, that's fine. I'm just going to let it cool. And later I will come back and ice it. Or whatever you want to call it. It smells so good. I'm going to put one of these over it. We don't have any monsters around right now, but we want to make sure. And when I say monsters, I mean like flying critters. I should have had it down further, but there we go. It smells delicious. And it's just turned out great. Just really great. Alright, I'll be back later. Okay guys, I am now going to make some icing for the cake. And I am going to use my mixer this time because I want to blend it up really well. And that'll be a whole lot of hand work that I don't have the strength to do today. So I'm going to just do it this way. Alright, so let's see. Yeah, I have in here half a stick of butter, half of a thing of cream cheese, which is about 4 ounces, I think, because they're 8 ounces. I'm going to put a half of a teaspoon of vanilla flavoring in here. And I'm going to put about half of a cup, no, a quarter cup of this, which is, no, this is an 8, so I need 2 of these, which this is the apple butter. I'm making a mess. And we did have some of this apple butter with our breakfast. It was delicious. Y'all, I didn't ever like apple butter before. Jeff said that it's better than store-bought. So maybe I was waiting my whole life to have apple butter until I made it myself. So there's that. Alright. Get the lid back on that. Put those in there for now. And I'm going to go ahead and just mix this part up. This cord, even though I've had this for years, the cord is still as if it was very new. I probably should have turned on more light. That any better? I don't know. Alright, I'm going to mix this up. I'm only going to use one of the beaters. I was just going to do just plain cream cheese buttercream, but I just decided to do this. I don't know why. The butter may not be quite as softened as it needed to be, but I'll get it smooth. Oh, it smells good already. I've got some heavy whipping cream here, but I don't know if I'm going to need that or not. I just took it out just in case. I'm just getting a little butter off at a time. Getting it. So I don't make a mess. So I have I shouldn't have gotten rid of that little silicone thing, because I could have used it to help me get that, you know, cleaned up some or whatever. And I was going to use this, and now I've gotten it dirty, so now I don't want it. I'm in an indecisive mood right now because I don't really know what I need to do this with. I don't normally do it on this small of a scale. I'd rather have this, I think. So I am going to get that. I'm thinking that I'm going to put 2 cups of confectioner sugar, icing sugar, powdered sugar, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to do 2 cups, but I'm going to do them in half-cup increments and mix it. That way I don't make as big of a mess, and then if I don't need 2 cups, I can always, you know, not put as much. I haven't done too much, in other words. Okay, that one's done. Absolutely know we need more. Alright, that's 1 cup. I probably should have sifted the confectioner sugar or icing sugar, powdered sugar, whatever you want to call it. I probably should have, but I didn't. So this is 1.5 cups. Okay, I am thinking that 1 more cup, or 1 more half cup, is going to be enough. I do things weirdly whenever I'm experimenting, and that's what I'm doing today. I'm just experimenting. I only took this out in case it's too thick. I don't think that's going to be a problem since we put the apple butter in. So, get this mixed in. Kind of thinking I might actually need to put a little more. It might be too thin, so I think I will put another half cup in there, because I'm thinking I'm going to need it. I'm going to use this spoon as my spoon rest. Oh, horrible noise. Glass on metal. Terrible noise. Alright, another half cup. So that's 2.5 cups. Okay, I think that's going to do it. So 2.5 cups of sugar, the confectioner sugar, powdered sugar, icing sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, a 1/4 cup of apple butter, half a stick of unsalted butter, and a half of a thing of cream cheese. Yeah. Alright. And now I'm just going to clean up my mess, and then we're going to do the cake. Okay, the cake is completely cooled. It's kind of sunk because this plate is not flat, it's sunk, so that's why it's that way. But it's just going to be okay because I don't like it like that really, but I don't have a plate that's flat. I mean, even my regular plates, my other plates, this is one of my regular plates, but even my other plates are not flat. So maybe I need to be on the lookout for a flat plate to do things like this. But we're going to be all right with it. We're going to just let it go and go with it. So this might still be too thin. It is very thick on top though. But I might have not made the icing thick enough. And now I'm not a professional at this kind of stuff. I don't know how to ice a cake. I mean, I do okay. But I don't try to make it look perfect. It's homemade, you know? It's okay. I try to keep the icing on the cake and not everywhere else. But I don't worry too much about perfection. And I would say, since this is like a cream cheese buttercream icing, I guess it's an apple butter. Cream cheese buttercream icing. I don't know. Anyway, I would say you would need to refrigerate the cake after you're done. Just because of, you know, don't want anything to happen with that cream cheese or anything. I really should have put this on a different thing. But you know, it's okay. Doesn't really matter. It's not perfect. We're not looking for perfection. I'm really glad that I didn't make more though. Because if I would have made more icing, it would have been way too much. I mean, there's already too much. And I guess what I can do with this leftover, I don't know what to do with it, honestly. I don't want to put it on the cake, it'll be too much. I do have a little bit that I missed right here. Jeffrey, you want to taste the icing? Not right this minute. Oh, you collecting eggs. Alright, so there's the cake. We have extra icing. There it is. And I'll put on the screen if we liked it or not. Okay, Jeff had dropped an egg on the porch. He had to clean it up. I took the icing and I put it in one of these little silicone bowls that I have, the leftover. You could eat that on a biscuit or something, I don't know. But I have some here, I'm going to taste it. That, you know, is just on the spatula. So, I'm going to see how it tastes. That is good. That is really good. That would be good on cinnamon rolls. Oh my goodness. I think apple butter might be my new favorite thing. I don't know. But this is good. So, there's the cake. I will leave a link to the recipe for the cake, and she did use a different kind of icing for it. I don't have a link for the icing because I just kind of threw it together. Maybe I'll try to type it out down in the description box or something, or maybe I'll put it on my blog and then have a printable for you. Either way, I'll try to do something, and I'll have on the screen if we like the cake. because we're not going to cut into it right now. But as I said, I would store it in the refrigerator for, you know, if you're going to have it, if you're going to like serve it the same day and not have any leftovers, I wouldn't really worry about it. But if you're going to have it for a longer period of time, I would say to store it in the refrigerator just because of the icing. Did you get it all up? Okay, so Jeff tried the icing, but he said all he tastes is cream cheese. I taste the other part. I taste the apple butter, but all he tastes is cream cheese. But he didn't really get much of it. But anyways, I tried to get him to taste a little bit more, but he wouldn't. I don't know why, but he didn't. I guess he's really doesn't want anything sweet right now, which I did cook something earlier. We had some bacon and biscuits and eggs, and so he's probably not hungry, so it's not the best time for him to taste anything. So anyways, that is all I have for today. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you don't mind, leave me a comment down below. Let me know how you're doing, because I really do want to know. If you have a prayer request, you can leave that down below as well, and I'll add you to my prayer list. Like, share, and subscribe. And remember, don't take any wooden nickels, and be sweet.